Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated, where today I'm just thrilled to death to be talking with actor Brian Thomas Smith. So welcome, Brian.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
No, thank you for being here. And I have to tell you, so we were talking a little bit before we came on air about Brett and I starting this podcast. So I have tried for 2 years now to get my parents to listen to this podcast. And I even set it up for them. All they had to do was push a button because they're not real good with the technical stuff. But they just say, why do we need to listen to that? We talk to you all the time.
Yeah.
And I've had people on the show that I thought, well, they would enjoy that interview. So I was like, well, how about this one? Said, no, we don't have time for that. We don't have time to do that. I was like, fine. So then I didn't say anything to them, but I mentioned to my brother that you were coming on the show. Now I stopped by. I'm still taking them their groceries. You know, they're not going out yet.
Good.
With the COVID stuff. So I dropped those off and they said, are you having Zach on the program? And I was like, yeah. So this is the one. This is the one they want to watch.
This is a shot. And maybe they'll be hooked and they'll just start listening to more.
This is the one.
Zach, the Big Bang, got them.
They're Big Bang fanatics. And like when Big Bang first came out, you know, I'm nerdy. So I was telling them, hey, you should check out this show. I said, this is a show that it's like me. You're like watching something I would do. And they were like, oh, that sounds terrible. They didn't want any part of that. Yeah. Well, then a few years later, we're sitting around the pool and they're like, you ever watch this Big Bang show? That's a really good show. Kidding me? So they're excited to see this interview. That has nothing to do with all you.
It's funny. I don't know if I would have watched the Big Bang Theory. I had not watched the Big Bang Theory until I had my audition for the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
So I was not a fan of the show. And then once I got involved in the show, it's like such a well-written show and the characters are great. It's a really, I understand why there's so many fans of the show. It's a great show.
It's become a monster. It's really become something. What was that like? Like did you, when you first got on the show, was that just an audition for you? Or did somebody say, hey, you would be perfect for this? Or was that just you said, I'll try it?
So I had done a small little co-star on 2.5 Men, which was another Chuck Lorre
I've
TV
seen
show.
That one.
Yeah, and so this is Charlie Sheen days, and the same casting directors do all of Chuck's TV shows. And so I had gone in and I had booked this small little co-star, and then I guess this role popped up pretty, you know, they're always doing rewrites on episodes.
Yeah.
And so this one must have been like, let's rewrite. Here's a new character. We need somebody for the end of the season 3 finale. A jock guy who's pretty dumb that Kaylee or Penny can realize that she's been ruined and can't date idiots anymore. She likes nerds now. That's kind of how the season ends. And I showed up. I got a call at 11 o'clock on a Monday, and the audition was at 5 on Warner Brothers. I show up, 5 guys. I knew all of them. We all going for the same stuff. We're like, who's the biggest dummy out of all of us? Let's, you know, and I got the call on the way home that table reads on Wednesday. And so I booked the gig. It was supposed to be a one-time guest star. And I guess they really liked what I was doing with the character. And it was pretty good. It was a good opposite for Kaylee, for Penny, because like she's usually the person that gets made fun of for not getting it. And now she can actually get pass those jokes on to Zach. He's the dumbest of all. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's such a great character. Was that the moon episode? You're up on the roof.
Yeah, the lasers are going to blow it up.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be in 3D. I got the glasses. I mean, there's so many funny Zach lines that fans will share with me, and it's the
best. I think my favorite Zach episode, and they're all good, but my favorite one I think is when Roz brings the girlfriend, you know, to the bar to meet the group, but he's not committed yet to her and stuff, and you're like just calling him out on it. Yeah. She
Just
seems
knows-
great.
Yeah, right. Why aren't you? You're not dating her. And I'm like hitting on her, and then she's like, "Wait, we're dating." I'm like, "Wait, then why aren't you together?" Yeah. I'm holding the wine glass with like a fist the whole time. That's what was fun. Is Zach didn't really understand sarcasm, so there was a lot of comedy in that.
Yeah.
But back to your earlier question, it was like I came on in season 3, and then I was, slowly, 1 episode here, 2 episodes here, all the way to the finish to season 12. So I did get to see this show. Season 3, they're hoping for, a couple more seasons. I think they had already signed maybe another season.
Right.
Not really sure. Definitely wasn't like fans. Like we shoot this in front of a live audience. So season 3 to season 12, man, the fans would show up wearing matching t-shirts. They were rowdy. It was tough to get a ticket. It was cool. The fans were awesome.
Did you have some show up in the Superman get up?
Did I have some show?
Yeah, did they show up in like dressed up as Superman when they knew you were going to be on the show?
No, there's a lot of comic books like Marvel character t-shirts that are worn, but no, full on Superman. But the Justice League Recombination episode was for sure my favorite. That was a great
episode.
Yeah.
That has to be, it has to be rewarding to think you're going on for one episode, and you do well enough that they like the character and they just keep writing you back in. I mean, that has to be kind of rewarding. They should have just made you a part of the show. That's why make you a regular.
A lot of fans say you should have been a regular. It would have been a fun little character on the show. I don't know if there was room for me. My first episode was actually Mayim's first episode, Amy Farrah Fowler.
That's right.
And we were eating lunch together that whole week, and she was like, "I don't know if I'm doing it right. I think they're liking what I'm doing." And I was like, "How'd you do it in the audition?" And she's like, "I like this." And she wasn't getting laughs, she thought, but she was just one little scene at the very end. But she told me that she was booked, hired for 6 more episodes, or a total of 6.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's like a good little arc." And they just loved Sheldon, with a girlfriend, and it just fit. And I know they liked my character because they obviously kept writing me back for there was no, when I showed up, I didn't really advance the story. It was more just a fun, let's go. We got to get Zach on the show. You
were a scene stealer.
Yeah, it was good. They wrote me so many jokes, and for a guest star, you don't get joke after joke. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's one thing that I think has helped that show be successful is the writers aren't afraid to make the guest stars be funny. A lot of shows don't do that. They don't want to take away from their main cast. I thought that was really good. I enjoyed that. They should spin off your character. Maybe that'd be a show.
Wouldn't that be a great show? I've had plenty of time on my hands with this pandemic and the whole business shut down pretty much. So I put together a strong pitch deck for a Zach spinoff. And it's actually it's a really good concept. And the concept is kind of heartwarming. It's, because it ends with Zach's rich now and he's married.
That's right.
And he can't have kids. And he asked Leonard to donate some sperm and all this. And he ended up saying no. And so he doesn't have any kids. Well, I think the spinoff would pick up with Zach, married, super rich, and he goes through the foster care program and he ends up adopting a few kids. And he's not the smartest guy to be this dad teaching anything.
Yeah.
But he has this zest for life and this optimism and this authentic love that he gives the kids. So maybe every episode, his teachings don't really go right, but they end up winning because they're based out of like love and enthusiasm. And so it would be a funny.
I love it. How do we get the rights to that? It's not very big. Big Bang hadn't done much. We could get the rights to this little piece of it.
My managers and agents loved it. The pitch deck is colorful and all the characters are broken down and we need Chuck Lorre to be like, yes. His manager is saying no to all possible spinoffs without even take a look. So it'd just be, it wouldn't be a huge connection. The character started on that show,
But
Yeah,
like
I
some
like
spinoffs are very tightly tied to the
exactly.
show, but this wouldn't have to be if that was the deal.
No. And for 12 years, you kind of got to know the whole gang. You don't know Zach, so let's enter this world, see what
Yeah.
this world looks like.
Oh, I think that would be that's a hit. We got to make that happen. I love that you've already got the pitch deck.
All ready to go. I just need a couple people to sign off on it. And
Where do I sign? Or who do I need to call? We'll make it happen.
Get a petition floating around or something. Yeah.
Free Zach.
Yep.
So I think that the first. I'm not sure about the timing. I'm not, were you Big Bang? Was that first, or did that come after Amazing Race?
I did the Amazing Race first.
That's what I thought. I think that's the first thing I saw you in was the Amazing Race.
Amazing Race
you were
7.
On Big Bang. I was like, that's the Amazing Race guy.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it when people recognize me from the Amazing Race, because that was like, I had only done a few acting gigs, mostly commercials, and I was like, at first, reality, is this going to ruin my career being on reality television? I was taking myself really serious as an actor, but I really had no credits. So it's like, come on. And to do it with my brother and race around the world for $1 million, I was like, we got to go. And
gotta go.
It was a blast. And you know what? The casting directors that brought me in for 2.5 Men actually brought me in because they were fans of Amazing Race.
That's
and
great.
Literally before my audition, we talked about the Amazing Race for like 10 minutes, and then I did my audition. So
yeah, and you guys did pretty well.
Yeah, we came halfway through. I if you remember, I flipped the Land Rover in Botswana.
I remember.
Oh yeah, and that got us started last the next leg, but it was a great time. It sure was.
Yeah, what a great thing to do with your brother too. I mean, that'd be a blast.
Not like with a girlfriend that you're arguing with the whole time. It was like with my bro, best friends, going out, having a good time, running around the world. Yeah.
See, that's awesome. Now we need to get you on Survivor.
Right.
That's the next one. I could see you on that. They do some celebrity ones.
Yeah, sometimes they figure out a way to get somebody in there that's been on some other stuff. And
I think isn't that because there's been a few Amazing Race crossovers with Survivor.
Yeah, our season had some Survivor crossover with
and back and forth. You could totally do that.
Yeah.
So you used to do a lot of commercials. You probably still do. But you did a DirecTV commercial.
Yes.
Right. So I worked with DirecTV for years, and they approached me and they're like, "We got this idea for this commercial. We want you to do it." And I was like, just give it to some loser. I'm not doing that. And then you got it.
They wanted you to be Phil Shifley?
No. No. I did work with DirecTV.
Yeah.
I was call center manager for years. So I remember, when the commercial came out, because they would send us those as like promo.
Yeah. Cool.
I remember when you did that, but yeah. It was pretty good though.
It was a funny spot, and I thought, like, because at the very end, I dye my eyebrows and my hair, and I attend a funeral and I'm hiding, and then the guy who created the concept of that episode or that commercial thought it would be a good idea to have me come to the Major League All-Star game. It was in Kansas City that year, and they had me hiding in the crowd. And then after they played the commercial during the All-Star game, they came back with Joe Buck, and Joe Buck was like, "Oh, hey, there's Phil Shifley in the audience." And I have like my beer and I'm like hiding. And I was like, this is going to be the first of like every best sporting event. They're going to hide Phil Shifley.
Yes.
And
You'll get to see all of them.
It's going to be the greatest gig ever. And then they changed the campaign, and it got all these funny Rob Lowe commercials with the skinny Rob Lowe and the creepy Rob Lowe. And then
they were funny.
They were great. But I thought I was onto something.
Phil Shifler though.
Yeah.
Did you at least get to see the All-Star game?
Yeah, I sat there with it was me and one of the ad guys, and we sat there and watched the whole game and did some interviews beforehand, just to play around.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I usually start the interview this way, but I skipped around a little bit. But
All right.
what made you want to become an actor? How'd you get into that?
That's a great question. So in high school, I would say my freshman and sophomore year, I had a video camera and I was making little home movies with my friends. I mean,
Yeah.
every weekend we saved up $60 and we got a sound editor machine where we could play a CD and play it through the camcorder, through the cords, through the CD player into the VCR that was recording onto a VHS tape, and we could put music in and we could like fade it in and out. And we had
Nice.
to do it all at once. It was like crazy. And we were just, I mean, this is early 90s. And so I loved it. And then I got into basketball big time, and I just played basketball. And after my varsity season was over,
Yeah.
there was a spring play, and I was like, I want to audition for this play. And I auditioned. The drama club voted me best actor the whole year. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So yeah, then I went to college, and the whole time in college, I was a film broadcasting major, but I had a theater minor, and I started auditioning for some plays, and I did like 7 plays in college, and just loved it. But I was also like in a fraternity, having fun, and I was like, I got to move out to LA when I graduate and do this. And summer of 2000, I was bartending at the Lake of the Ozarks. I saved up as much money as I could, and I got in my car and drove to LA. I knew one person, and stayed on his couch for like 6 months, trying to figure it out. I'm here. What do I do? Where's the?
Isn't, I mean, that's your typical actor story, isn't it?
It's not original. No, it's kind of like moving out, not knowing anyone, and yeah. But here I am, 20 years later, and
That's amazing.
Still doing it.
You didn't know no college offers to play sports?
There was a couple D3 schools. I went to a Division II school, but knowing that I wasn't going to be able to walk onto the team, I didn't even try out. But there's a difference between high school and collegiate sports, which is called athleticism. So, you could have heart and you could have a good jump shot, but if you can't defend anybody or touch the rim, or I mean, it was
yeah. If you can't keep up with everybody else playing, that's a detriment.
That's the difference.
So did I read that you were back then you were in a comedy troupe?
Yeah. So after The Amazing Race, I got together with a couple of comedy buddies out here, and we put together the Exploding Pajamas. And
I love that name.
Oh, so fun. We would get like these 100-seat theaters, and we would write about 10 sketches and rehearse and paint the sets, get the props, and we would pack the house. We had Budweiser ended up sponsoring us, and we had tubs of just free Budweiser cans in the alleys, or aisles, and first 100 to show up. I mean, you couldn't even you had to show up to get your tickets, and we would do it 4 weekends in a row and sell out, and we did it for like 4 years, and we had so much fun. And this is right like YouTube came out, and I wish we would have just kept together making videos for YouTube, because we were doing a lot of work and we were doing it for the stage. Not a lot of, it's like, you can only get 100 people in there. Now you can do these, now TikTok, all these different platforms, you can you can be a comedy writer, sketch person, and you can get millions of eyeballs now. You don't need beer in the aisle to get people to show up.
So when you come back, we need to do an Exploding Pajamas reunion.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And we'll launch it, and then you guys can YouTube it.
Half the guys aren't even actors anymore. One guy won an Oscar for directing a documentary, Undefeated. It's a sports documentary.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
On stage with an Oscar. It was like, what? We're all friends. We just don't see each other as much.
So that means there's opening in the Exploding Pajamas.
It's true. Well, auditions, get the gang back together.
Yeah, that improv stuff's not easy.
Yeah, it's not. It's fun. You got to have a good chemistry with your people, and just always be doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So I also read that you had done a pilot for Dan Fogelman.
Yes. Are you familiar with Dan Fogelman? He created This Is Us.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to ask you, because
Yeah.
I know you did the movie,
Yeah, I did his first movie,
Danny
Danny
Collins, right?
Collins.
Which was
Yeah.
a loaded cast.
Loaded. And not a lot of people saw the movie, but it is a really good movie.
It's like Pacino and Annette
Yes.
Bening, and I don't know, it was loaded. I could there everybody in it was pretty well known.
Loaded. And I got stories from that. That's so I had done Dan Fogelman's second pilot ever was the 12th Man, and it was an NBA bench warmer who was kind of like the straight guy. It was like a half-hour comedy for Fox, and
Yeah.
everyone around him was kind of just a character and funny, and I'm like this underdog, but like the only guy with some common sense around, and it was very dry. They couldn't cast anybody. They had tested 10 people. They were just like, anyone that's 6'3" can come in and audition pretty much. And so I ended up booking the job, and it was huge. I didn't even have an agent at the time, and
That's
it got me.
awesome.
I was going out to dinners with all the top agencies. They wouldn't even take a meet. No one would take a meeting with me before that, and kind of got me into the game from that. We thought
Yeah.
it was going to get picked up. It didn't get picked up. They picked up like 2 shows that season. One of them got canceled after a few episodes, and it was just like, why didn't you, you know,
Yeah.
put us on for a few episodes, see what happens?
See what
They
happens.
Yeah, they canceled a couple other shows that they gave a second season to instead of canceling, and it just didn't work out. But Dan Fogelman, the nicest guy ever. He did a couple. He wrote a bunch of movies after that, and another pilot, and he did This Is Us. I went in for This Is Us.
Yeah.
Um, but then Danny Collins came along, and he sent me an email. It's like, hey, there's a part in here I want you to come audition for. So I had to earn it. I
You
had to
made an
go.
impression.
Had audition. Pacino had to sign off on me and everything, and it was great. And then I booked that part, and it was great. I went out to dinner with. It had to have been because I was working the same day, like a Friday,
Yeah.
and Fogelman was like, "Hey, a bunch of this cast, we're going to go to Spago in Beverly Hills Saturday. I'm taking the cast out for dinner. You want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, for sure." But I show up. It's like Pacino, Christopher Plummer, Bobby Cannavale, Jennifer Gardner, Annette Bening, uh, Dan Fogelman, and then there's other girl, and then like, what's his other, Josh something. He played the ballet. But anyway, it's like then me, and I'm just there hanging out, 3-hour dinner, just listening to stories. It was
That's
pretty
amazing.
It was like, as an actor, leaving that dinner, I was on cloud nine. I was just like, wow,
You'd have to be.
this is what it feels like to be, a movie star. And it was just like, it fuels the tank. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I mean, what a night.
Yeah. It was, it was great.
You could have just retired at that point.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I just had dinner with Pacino. What's going on?
It's all downhill from here.
Yep.
So Jennifer Garner is from West Virginia, and that's our like our big fish. We've been chasing after her, and I can't even get them to answer me. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
She literally grew up right here.
That's crazy.
One day we'll get
One
her.
day.
We've gotten like every other West Virginia actor because there's not that many. So we got she's still out there for us. Yeah.
They'll get on.
It'll happen. We'll get it done. I haven't got to the point because she grew up here. So everybody knows her. I haven't got to that point yet where I'm like, hey, could you call her mom?
Right.
Could you put a word in for us?
Let's get this podcast booming here, where she's gonna call you and be like, hey, I want to be on your show.
Be on your show. That's what we're shooting for.
Yep.
But in the meantime, Brian Thomas Smith.
Yeah, right.
That's right. Pretty awesome.
Yeah. I love doing these things. It's fun to talk, to other people and discuss the careers and just the business. And it's, everybody has their own journey, and that's what's crazy about the business. Like, there's no one right way to do it. There's a lot of careers out there where if you go do this and you work hard at this, you're pretty much not guaranteed, but you're going to have some success in the areas that you're working hard at. And acting,
That's
there's
awesome.
some things that come into play that you don't have any control over. But
Right.
you show up prepared for every audition, and when you're on set, you do the job, you do your best, you build relationships, and it
Yeah.
kind of work leads to work. But there's no right way to do it, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have, I ask this question a lot. Do you have a job or role that you didn't get or you turned down and then it just turned into this just amazing role? Anything that you was a near miss?
I mean, besides that pilot, that I think if that pilot gets picked up, The 12th Man, and
Yeah, that would have been big.
because what it did for me was it got me in the eyes of the casting world out here in
Right.
California. Like all the half-hour casting directors were like, "Oh, who's this Brian Thomas Smith? He's 27 years old. He's the lead of this Fox pilot. Let's bring him in for all these pilots." And I
Right.
don't even know if I was ready. It was just like crazy how busy I got, and I got invited to that program, but the world didn't know who I am. And if that show goes, one season, everybody knows that's the guy from that one show, and the leverage you have with that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's what's the next show going to be? You're kind of just getting on a show, and I feel like, and there was like the Justin Longs and the John Krasinski's and these type of actors that I feel like get a lot of roles that I would love. Um, they were taken off that time. That's
Right.
like boom,
Right.
they exploded. The kind of the everyday type of guy, underdog dude that just they had a lot of success. And so I feel like that role, if that was one of my favorite roles, plus it was a basketball player, and I played basketball, and it would have just been a dream job.
The perfect role.
Yeah, would have been perfect. So there's a lot of times that I stay up at night thinking, man, what if that would have got picked up?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, now this jerk's going to ask me about it. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's all
Really
right.
relive it.
It's all meant to be. Life happens the way it happened, and it's like, all right,
That's right.
this is where we're at. And
Yeah, that's exactly right. Did I see that you had done or did a Heineken commercial with Jennifer Aniston?
yeah, that's in 2004. I'd been out here 4 years, and I had done two other commercials, a bunch of student films, no agent, except for I had a commercial agent, and my roommate was an actor as well. I lived in a house with like 4 dudes, and 5 of us total, and two of the other guys were actors, and we used to crash each other's auditions back in the day. It was so cool. Like we would just if someone had an audition, we would all go. And then we would just sign in at this, we would sign in, and back then it wasn't all in the program. It wasn't in the computer. It was just like on a sheet of paper. And so you kind of could sneak in. Well, I was crashing my buddy's Coors Light audition for the wingman spots, these spots. And I went in for that. And then I saw the Heineken spot, and I went over there and I just signed my name on it. And then I got in and I did the spot. And then the casting director was like, "I don't see your name on here." And I was like, "Oh shoot. Yeah, I think I got the call today." And I just kind of left. Well, I got a call back, and then I ended up booking it. And it's like, I was the guy. How come I didn't get this audition in the first place? But anyway, I ended up booking it, and I worked, it was just me and Jennifer Aniston on this. She was like married to Brad Pitt, on Friends, peak, like the biggest she was, I think, Jen Anderson.
Yeah.
Right there. She got paid $1 million. She was there for 8 hours, and it never ran in the US. Never.
I know, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was another drive home that I was like, I'm going to be a movie star. I just worked. Are you kidding me? That was crazy. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I loved you on Happy Endings, The Neighborhood. It's fun seeing you pop up in different shows. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Neat.
And the goal is to keep popping up. I'm going to get my own show here. I put it out there, and it's just going to happen. I don't know what it looks like, but
it's going to happen. Once this airs,
yeah,
you better keep the phone. I used to say, the phone's going to be ringing off the hook. Well, there's no hook anymore.
It's going to be
ringing. You're going to be exhausted.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, no, I don't have time for that anymore. Stop calling. Well, Brian, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. This will be my parents' favorite episode.
That means a lot to me. It does. You get the parents involved, they don't want to do anything that they're not comfortable with. They want to, and then they're going to tune in to see what Zach's up to.
See, I should have had them try to call in during the interview, because that would have been hilarious.
Yeah,
I would have had to put a camera on them at the house to film them trying to get in. That would have been fun.
That's great.
Before you go, is there I know it's been, kind of crazy this year, so most people are kind of hanging out at the house, but anything upcoming that we can look for you in?
I did have a movie that came out in August. It was called Baby Splitters.
What is that one about? I did
Danny Pudi from Community is the lead in it. He is so
I love Danny Pudi.
Funny. I play a doctor, so that's already funny. It's a crazy movie about two couples where they kind of one person in the couple wants to have a kid, one doesn't. They are friends. They think, well, divorced parents share custody. Why can't two couples share custody? And they have this crazy idea. And it's actually a really well-made movie. Sam Friedlander is the director, and he does a great job. He wrote it, and I have a fun part in it. And so that you can still rent. I think it's out everywhere, so you can rent that.
Okay, go do it.
In the meantime, I'm doing some writing myself and just auditioning, and hopefully this business starts to pick back up. And
for sure,
get that show.
Are you auditioning by Zoom, or are you you making the tapes and sending them in now instead of?
I got to do a self tape by tomorrow for the Chicago Fire role. I did a screen test a couple weeks ago with Mark Paul Gosler for Mixed Dish.
Yeah,
it's like on Zoom, and we're doing a chemistry read, and it's like we're on a Zoom call, it's like it's a little different than doing it in person, but hopefully we'll get back to the way things used to be. But I don't mind doing self tapes. I get to do it over and over again until I get it the way I want it. So
that's the advantage of it. I just recently learned what a side was. I'd never heard that term, but
sides are your lines.
Sides, so you can kind of do your your tape. That's pretty neat. Where can our listeners, our viewers, find you on social media?
So I'm at pretty easy at Brian_Thomas_Smith on Instagram and TikTok. Those are the two platforms that I really use. I've been having a lot of fun on TikTok. I'm probably too old to be on TikTok.
I'm impressed that you're on TikTok.
I got on in March once the pandemic hit. I said, what's all this TikTok about? And you can edit stuff and add music and filters. And I've been having some fun. If you find me on TikTok, you'll be entertained with some of my videos.
Yeah, I'm going, you'll be my second. I'm right now, I'm only following my son. So you'll be number 2.
Love it.
I'm going to do it.
Have fun.
I'm going to do it. Yeah, that'll be pretty good. But yeah, that's impressive. See, the only reason that I got an account with TikTok was because it had that whole thing where, we thought we might lose it. You couldn't download the app anymore. So I was like, well, I better download it just in case.
You get it now just in case, so you can have it, so they can't take it away from you.
Yeah. So you're getting ready to add a follower.
Good. I need it.
Momentarily.
I need it.
Well, thank you, Brian. This has been great. I really appreciate the time. And once they decide that they're going to do the spinoff, you got to come back.
You got it. No doubt. Guaranteed. Spinoff, I'm back on. Let's do this.
You got to come back. We'll do, I don't know, we'll do like a deleted scene. We'll do the table read on Zoom, the Zoom read.
I love it. Well, thanks for having me, Michael.
Yes, sir. This has been great. We'll talk to you again soon.
Take care.
All right. Bye. All right, so that was Brian Thomas Smith. What just an absolutely terrific guy, talented guy. I liked that he brought up some of the actors, the roles that he was trying to get, because that's exactly the type of role I could see him in. And absolute crime that he hasn't got his own show. He is such a funny guy, and I'm sure he can do drama too, but just absolutely deserves a show. So let's make that happen. Let's get him let's get him back on the TV, because he's obviously very, very well loved. So I really appreciate that. That was just a blast. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, appreciate that you choose us week after week. Don't take that for granted at all. Thank you so much. Please check us out on Facebook under MeisterCon. You can look at our fairly new website, meistercon.com. There's a lot of great stuff on there. You can find all of our episodes. You can find Brett's blog, and he has a lot of good takes on pop culture items I think you'll enjoy. So check that out. If you want to help the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/MeisterCon. Every little bit helps. Thank you again, and we'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.